You got the recording going, Michelle, right? So,
Yep, we're all started.
all right, thank you. All right, I want to call up to order the September 13th, 2024 Electrical Work Examining Board meeting, September 13th at 9:09 a.m. Go through a roll call. Uh, Myself, I'm President Richard Byrd.
Present.
Peter Jennings. Okay. Paul Costello.
Present.
John Yusa.
Present.
Jackie Laramie. Tom Sportini. Keith Lacy.
Present.
And Derek
I'm here.
Santalucia.
Present.
Okay. All right, so we know, I do know that Peter Jennings is trying to get in, and Jackie Laramie is running a little bit late, but she should be joining us soon. So we have a quorum. So we'll move forward with the meeting and our agenda. First item on our agenda is the review of our previous meeting of July 12th, 2024. Everybody on the board has received a copy, or should have received a copy of the minutes of that meeting. Is there a motion for that to accept?
Motion to accept.
Mr. Chair, I'll second.
Okay. So,
All right, I think that's a little better.
there you go. Peter Jennings just arrived. Mark him as in attendance. Okay. Okay, so you have the first and a second to accept the minutes of the July 12th meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Signify.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Should be none. Okay. All right, thank you. You're out.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Costello.
looks like Tom Sportini just signed on.
Okay. Yeah, Tommy, you there?
Yeah, he's muted.
He's muted. Oh, yeah, I see him. I see his, he popped up here. Okay, so Tom Sportini is here. Okay, great. The only one we're missing is Jackie right now. All right. Comments or concerns of anyone present today on anything that is not on the agenda? We'll take comments for the appropriate agenda items as we get to them. But I don't believe anybody is here with anything else that I could see. So move on. Next is our DCP Investigation Division, their case report. Who is going to take that one? Janita?
I am,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
thank you, Janita.
You're welcome. I sent two 2-month reports because this is my first meeting since I came back. So the first one is the electrical board report from May 1st. Oh, it should be 2024, not 2025. I didn't realize that typo in my title. To
That's all right.
June 30th of 2024. In that time, the department received 11 new cases and closed 10. And it also took in $5,000 in assurances of voluntary compliance. You will notice that the resolution on quite a few of them is completed site inspection. and that it says determining licensing compliance. Those are site inspections that we have done out in the field with gaining the 2 new inspectors. We've been able to go out in the field to do a lot more inspections. So it's been good. It's the first time since I've been here that I've had 6 inspectors working for occupational licensing. So it is making a difference. So are there any questions on this 2-month report?
No,
Yes, John User has one.
okay,
Mr. Y-
yeah, John User.
Okay, that's, okay, I guess it's your case number 2024-271. At this point, it says that they found the gentleman unlicensed. The issue is unlicensed. And at the end there, it just says that he paid a fine. Was he licensed or not licensed?
And you have to understand, I'm just coming back and I've explained to the new inspectors that you need to put a reason why they got an assurance of voluntary compliance. But I could definitely make a good, and I won't say assumption, I can pretty much believe for the amount of money for the ABCs that he was either beyond the scope or not licensed.
Well,
Yeah.
not licensed and just paying a fine. That's my only question.
Well, there is a credential number, license number for him, for the respondent, right?
That
That's why I'm saying,
he worked beyond the scope. So
Okay.
he's not a contractor. So if he's only a journey person, he's not a contractor, he's unlicensed as a contractor, and he's working beyond the scope of the credential that he holds.
Right.
okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, no, and what the inspector would do at this point is educate the person and get them to be applying to go for their contractor license so that they know what compliance is.
Okay.
Miss Hamel, I have another question.
Sure.
On case number 2024-57, in the comment section, resolution notes, I'm sorry, it says respondent has made no attempt to respond to letters sent out by the department or by attorney representing complainant, and that one is closed. Was that because it was turned over as a civil matter?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Okay.
And it's great to see that we're getting back to doing the inspections. So it's great to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna add this, I was gonna add the same thing actually, because, and I appreciate the notes on those that were inspected and found to be in compliance as well. That's great that we've got these inspectors back out there now.
Yep.
So,
Okay. So,
good job.
thank you. I will pass that kudos along to my staff. Now, are we done with this one and I will go to the next one?
I think we are. Anybody got any
Okay.
questions? Okay. Nobody got any other questions?
All right. The next 2-month report goes from July 1st, 2024 through August 31st of 2024. In this time frame, the department took in 10 new cases and closed 14.
Mhm.
Okay. And also, hang on. During that time, it took in $17,000 in assurances of voluntary compliance forfeitures.
Mhm. Okay,
And again, will be so noted in an email, will go out to my staff as a reminder that you need to put the reason for the assurance of voluntary compliance so that I can properly explain to my boards what is happening. So,
Janita, if I may ask you, on the
Sure.
very first one on this report, and I'm looking at it particularly because of the aging of the case number.
yep,
This is one where supposedly no permits. Person did not have any permits, and doesn't say anything about a resolution. It says complaint center closed.
Mhm.
What can you tell me about if he had no, if there was no permit and he was supposed to have a permit, did the person not respond to you or to the department?
um, how do I put this? There are some files that didn't reach my inspectors at the time from the complaint center. So and because of the age of the file, there is nothing else to respond other than because of the age of the file that it was closed. The department is going through,
So this is just a case of doing a little purging, if you will, of some files?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And do note that there may be more like this showing up.
Mm-hmm.
As the department moves forward, and it's my understanding that the commissioner's office has hired a project manager to head this up, and that as we go through the next few months, this young lady will be going through, not just with occupational, professional, or home improvement, or real estate, all the different divisions in the agency, to kind of help do a purge to move forward.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, in the case of the first one that I just raised a question on, I can understand the theory of purging and whatnot, but since will there be any tagging his license at all relative to the fact that
No,
no? Okay, all right.
no,
So
no.
okay. All right. So it's purging. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I will add, this is Pamela, Director of Investigations, that the case stays on, attached to the credential, so the case file doesn't go away, it still stays on the record for a period of time.
Okay. Okay.
All right, I have a question on a particular case.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, 2019-1564. Going to the end of it and reading it, that apparently there's some felonies involved in this. Any idea what those felonies were?
No.
Which case are you talking about, John, again?
Let's see. Let me go back over here on my screen.
Number
that is,
5.
2019-1564.
Okay, thank you.
Unethical conduct, and then we go to the end of it under resolution notes, and it said that there's some felonies involved, and I'm curious as to what the felonies were and what happened to it.
When someone renews their license and they click on, yes, they've had a felony since their last renewal, it goes for a CHRO review. And that's taken care of by the special investigator who handles that. And then that's dealt with at I think he puts a report to legal, but Pamela can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, the workflow is that it goes to legal. However, in this case, this is an expired application. There was no appeal sought by the respondent.
All right.
A lot of noise on there.
What's that? What was that, John?
I said, so the felony was not involving something with a customer. This is something that's totally different. That's what I was looking for, the clarification, and thank you for that.
Yep. The other thing, just to note, for Mr. Yusa, for Board Member Yusa, the department would not be listing the type of felony or information on public facing website information. Just,
Okay, it's, as I said, you've clarified it for me, and thank you very much for that. So,
okay, not a problem.
Janita?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Well, on that particular case, just because of the, under the D column issue, we're gonna be able to get this changed to unethical at some point as opposed to ethical conduct?
Oh, in the issues and have it, the language changed to, sure. I think, Mr. Cohen is on the call,
Yep.
so, I can send a email requesting that it be changed.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not going after people for ethical conduct. We're going after them for unethical conduct. And this is a official document, so
Okay,
if we
no,
can get that modified, I would appreciate that.
Jason, are you able to respond to that?
Okay.
I
Anybody
mean, we could
else?
certainly discuss that.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thank you, Jason. I wasn't sure if you were still there or not. Okay. Anybody have anything else on this report from Janita?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. There's a lot of unlicensed stuff going on here, huh?
You mean, oh yeah, from the report standpoint? Yeah, well, I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think there's a lot of that going on, period. And I think
Yep.
what this is showing now is that with the increase in inspectors, we're able to zero in and find some of these people because they're making these inspections.
Mhm.
And even the consumers, I think, are becoming more aware of the licensing requirements.
Mhm.
So, all right. Janita, thank you very much. Great job. Tell the inspectors we appreciate everything they're doing and keep up the good work.
Thank you, I will.
Yes, definitely. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're very welcome. Okay, is anything else from legal? Anything they want to report on? Hearing none. Hearing none, I guess we'll move on.
Yep.
Okay, has Jackie Larrabee joined us? If not,
I don't see her on.
okay. All right. Okay, under old business, number one was continued discussion on limited licenses. John and I have been trying to get together on this, and needless to say, we haven't been too successful because of our schedules between the two of us, but we will continue to try to work together on that and get something put together to present to the board. And John, I know you and I had a conversation, and I believe you indicated that the various license types and their scope of work that's covered by them is, in general across the country, seems to be an issue that everybody's trying to look at, and they're looking toward Connecticut as to what we do. Is that right?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chairman. That's correct. Low voltage, limited voltage is a pretty hot topic at the moment across the country, either cleaning up current licenses and or trying to create licenses for this particular licensing type.
Okay. So we will continue to work on that. Any question by any of the board members on that?
No, sir.
Oh, sir.
Okay, thank you. I know we've spoken in the past, this is not on the agenda. And Jackie have been pretty vocal about the CE audits and so forth. But I was gonna ask her to head up a little committee, so to speak, and work with John and the department to see and express some of her thoughts and see if there's something we can do. But just because she's not here I won't appoint her right now or ask her to do that, but I'll wait and ask her when I see her. But I don't believe in asking people to do stuff when they're not here to accept it. So, moving on. Under new business, we have, we have two applications, two people that should be joining us here today, relative to applying for in both cases, applying for an E1 license. They both have been before the board, the application review committee, I should say, and have been turned down for various reasons. And since I participate that on our part as the board, I will, as I've done in the past, turn this portion of the meeting over to Richard Byrd to take each of those cases. So, Mr. Byrd, if you would like to hop in here and start with Mr. Vasquez, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Looks like Miss Laramie just joined us just now.
Oh, well, can we back up just 1 minute then?
Absolutely, sir.
Jackie, your timing is perfect.
Okay.
I had a note here to speak to you today and ask you, because we've been talking about the audits for continued ed, and you've been pretty
Vocal.
I didn't want to make that sound like it was a negative thing, but you've been pretty vocal about in a positive way of trying to come up with systems and what have you. And what I'd like to do is ask you if you would be so kind on behalf of the board to work with and talk to John Mesner,
Yes.
and see and take direction from him as to who else we need to talk to, and kind of put some ideas together and we'll go from there.
I would love that. I'm really glad that my vocalization has been heard.
I thought you were going to say persistence. No, that's great. Well, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. If you would. Okay, so I'll turn the reading back over to Mr. Byrd. so that, and thanks for joining us, Jackie. I know you were running a
Yeah,
little
I'm
late.
sorry for late.
Mr. Byrd, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll start off with Mr. Vasquez. You are applying for, it looks like an E1, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like what I'm looking here is looks like you're short on related instruction is what it looks like from what I can see here. As well as OJT. Is that correct, sir?
I provided Rachel Hedberg with the hours I've got work on the field and the experience that I've worked on the field. I don't know if you have that on your paperwork.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me just. That was something that came in this morning, then,
Yeah.
or just recently, from what I can see. Okay. Does everybody have that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, are you currently licensed in the, it does not look like you're currently licensed in the state of Connecticut, right? You have no E2 in the state of Connecticut?
No, I have not.
Or an equivalent journey person's license in any other state?
No, I have a master electrician's license in New York, Westchester
Okay.
County.
All right. I do have a couple of questions because it looks like you have some certificates of compliance from statewide inspection services on rule number 15, rule number 17. But I'm not seeing any hours that are on the certificate for CEU hours or for hours of completion.
There's multiple certificates there that say 4 hour, what I do yearly. And I also have the
Okay.
certificate from the Department of Consumer Protection there that I provided that states that I do have my license in New York.
Okay, yep, I see it now on the certificates for 4 hours, okay. I think what also the question I would have is exactly what is the content, the course content for the 4 hours based on Article 17? I'm not seeing that unless there's something that I did not see. No, I do not see it. Okay, is there any other questions from any of the other board members?
Excuse me, Mr. Byrd, just for clarification, because the certificates, the CEU certificates are just certificates of attendance. There's no, there's no mastery, there's no test or anything else. It's not merely a certificate of attendance for being in the classroom.
Yep. Or any course content for that matter as well.
Just with the certificates, there are for my renewal every year. So I need to take the course every year in order to renew my license in Westchester County.
Yep. Yep. But what we don't see here is where does it meet the required related instruction as to the state of Connecticut? There's no course content on here.
So what we're looking for more is when you're taking these classes to renew your license, what are the topics that are being discussed and taught in those classes or reinforced? Because we're trying to match it to what is in our curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Well, what they're normally teaching those classes is new changes in the code. that have been happening as the as the year goes on, when they make changes. That's what we're basically taking these courses.
Do you know if your instructor or this provider can give you a syllabus or more of an outline of those specific items to give us as a point of reference? Like that documentation is important.
Sure, I can try to attend to get one from them.
Do you have any other related training as far as a tech school or anything of that nature?
No.
Excuse me, Mr. Byrd. Yeah, unfortunately, if you look at the Westchester County license requirements, it only requires 7.5 years of field work. It does not require any related instruction for their licensing program.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Jennings.
Also, at the time I took the test for the Westchester County, it was 11.5 years that I had to have on the field before they changed it to 7.5. Just wanted to bring that up.
All right, are there any other questions in regards to from Mr. Vasquez?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so there's nothing for fire alarm or any DC theory or anything like that, motor control courses that would match up to Connecticut's requirements?
Mr. Vasquez, do you have anything of that nature?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Costello, I did not see any course, anything that meets that. So fire alarm,
Right.
yeah. Yep.
Yes, I'm looking to see the same thing as I go through everything.
Yep. Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Are there any other questions? I'll just go around. Mr. Jennings, you have any additional questions?
None. Thank you.
Mr. Yuza, do you have any?
No, I see he's got a lot of field experience, but no classroom experience.
Okay, thank you, John. Mr. Sportini?
He said no.
Yeah.
Yep, he said no. Yep. How about Ms. Laramie?
I don't have any other questions or comments.
Thank you. Mr. Lacy?
None. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Santalusa?
No extra questions.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Costello, do you have any additional questions?
No, Mr.
All righty. With that being said, no additional questions. Can I get a motion to either approve or deny?
I'll make the motion to deny based on a lack of related instruction.
Okay.
I will second that.
Mr. Sportini did second that as well. Yep.
No,
Okay.
John User.
Yep. Thank you, John. Any additional comments? Concerns? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, abstained? Mr. Chairman Valeries?
Yes,
You
I
abstain?
abstain.
Okay. All right, the application has been denied. Okay, Mr. Vasquez, we're looking for the related training.
Okay. Thank you
Mr.
very
Chair,
much.
will they also
Yes, sir,
send
Mr.
him the related instruction requirements? I believe they probably already did with the denial. I think we've done that in the past.
That normally is taken care of, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, so we'll take that. Rachel, will you be, or Rochelle, will you be able to take care of that for us?
Karen can reach out with that information. I
Karen
don't need
can?
the application,
Great.
But yeah, I'll make sure Karen, I think she might be listening, but I'll shoot her an email after the meeting too.
All right, great, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. All righty, let's see, moving up, next on the agenda is Mr. De Silva. You're in attendance today, Mr. De Silva? I've not seen you on the screen, that's all.
He's here. I can see him.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear you now. Yep. Okay, so you are applying for an E1, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Looking through your application, I am not seeing any OJT in the paperwork that I see. Is that something that you do have? Because I do not see it in the paperwork, sir.
I do not, no.
Okay. Also looking at it, I'm looking under for related training. I do see you have a few certificates. But I do not see anything that would match our related training.
Correct.
Okay.
I do, I've done some classwork. I went to Quinnipiac also. I have some classwork, like some classes there that I've taken, for 4 years. I just have not had like the tech classes due to the fact that I was living in New York and I didn't know the requirements needed, for the Connecticut, like that you needed to go to a tech class and take those classes, to get your license in Connecticut. It's something that I would like to do. I'm running a company right now and I just don't have the time to be going to those classes. I have been a journeyman before, and I have a certificate here since 2016. I was a journeyman in Putnam County. And then I got my license in both Westchester and Putnam, my master electrician license.
Yep, I do see inside of here. Your journeyman. Yep, got it. Okay. And I also do see that you did receive the letter based on your related training, correct? The required 720 hours of related training. I see you did receive the email on that.
Yeah, I did receive it. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, right as of right now, I just don't have the time to sit in a class for 700 hours. But I would like to pursue some work in Connecticut just to build my business up. But I mean, obviously, I'm hoping that you guys can understand where I'm coming from.
Are there any other questions from any other board members?
Mr. Byrd, yeah, unfortunately, this is just like the last one. It's, Westchester and Putnam County, they both just require the field experience. They don't require any related instruction for their licensing requirements.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jennings. Alrighty, no additional. I'll just go around the room to make sure. Mr. Jennings.
Can I ask one question though? If you guys don't approve me for the E1, would you guys approve for the E2 as a journeyman, or guide me in a way where I can get some type of license in Connecticut or start?
I think, and looking at this without that related, the 720 hours of related training, I think either license would be a hard one to approve without the related training.
Is there a way to get that training without spending the hours in class? Like, I just don't have the time to sit in class. I mean, obviously, I know your requirements are your requirements. I mean, I did go to Quinnipiac University. I do have a bunch of for calculus and other math classes that I took there, his physics, any of that will work for the hours?
Again, going back into your letter that you got back on January or July 22nd, it stated that you would have to bring that in for a transcript analysis. And there was a couple in there that showed who would be able to do that for you, and then bring that in front of the board for equivalent related training.
And then, if you don't mind me interrupting, there's also, there are schools that are online schools that are approved through higher ed for related instruction rather than in-person classrooms. I know Penn Foster is one of them.
Penn Foster, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, and are they fully approved or just partial approval? And he would still be required to take a few courses, I believe, if he attended the Penn Foster online, correct?
I don't recall 100%, but I know they will meet a majority of his requirements.
Yes, sir. I do believe you are 100% correct, Mr. Jennings. I do not believe they have a full, though. So it's something that you want to look into, Mr. De Silva.
Okay. Will do.
All right. Okay. Mr. Hughes, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Sportini? Okay, thank you. Ms. Laramie?
I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Okay. Mr. Lacy?
The only comment I have is, if you do get the related training, you're gonna want to come back and go for the E2, because I think you'll run into trouble with another thing, which would be going right for the E1 is going to be a problem because there's a grace period in between the E2 and the E1. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Mr. Santalusa?
I have no further questions.
And Mr. Costello?
I have none either.
Okay. With that being said, can we get a motion to either approve or deny?
I'll make the motion to deny. I'll second.
Okay, I have Mr. Costello and Mr. Lacy. Is there any other further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Sportini. Okay, and abstained, Ms. Laramie and Chairman Valeries?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. De Silva, the application has been denied.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I will turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. Thank you very much. Is there a Mr. Varela in attendance today?
No, he emailed that he would not be in attendance today, so we can skip over that one.
Okay, great, thanks. And then the next item was, I believe, was reviewing the report on the pass fails for the schools. Is that correct? Everybody received a copy of that report that was requested by Peter at the last meeting. John Mesner, thank you very much for getting this for us. I know the board has some questions about it, so I'll let the board go first. Anybody want to raise their concerns or questions or clarifications on the report?
John Uso would like one.
Go ahead, John.
In this case, we just have people going for licenses. Could we break it down as to whether they're E1, E2s, Cs, or Ls, or whatever, Ts, so we'd have an idea of a little better than just a number?
Good morning, Mr. Hughes. The report was only requested and run for E2s. So this report is strictly for E2s. Yep.
Oh, strictly E2s. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
No problem.
Mr. Chair, could I ask as well? Is this just the first attempt?
I believe there was all attempts on there, pass and fail rates. I'd have to pull that report back up.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Also,
I do see
would
where
it be,
it's-
Yeah, I think Paul's question is, are these all just first-time test takers, or are they just the repeat test takers, or is it a combination of both combined?
I believe it's a combination. It's going to be all tests.
Is that right, Paul?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. If, just as an example, it's a little disturbing when you see 46 people taking a test and only 15 passing with one of them. Curious, is that 46 first-time people taking it, or a combination of 20 people failing it multiple times?
Yeah, I think that's one of the questions I do have too, as well, Mr. Costello, is looking at some of these. We don't know if, exactly that. Is it 23 people taking it multiple times, or, yeah.
Right.
Plus, to your point, Paul, if you go to the third page of the document,
Let me pull that up. Maybe I missed that.
fourth one down in the same school, 184 tested.
My apologies. For some reason, I don't have that printed.
Oh, okay. 184 tested, 54 passed, so it was like a 29%
Yep.
passing rate.
Exactly. That's, yeah.
Yeah, same principle, same thing on another provider with 292 and 76 pass, with 216 for failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School
The other-
code 63, yeah, yes.
Yeah, the other question I have is, I'm not quite sure when the Connecticut Well Water Association became an approved. There's a few of them on here that just kind of throw you for a loop.
Yeah, that one there is a little easier to explain. So those are all generated by school codes. So if apprenticeship inputs the wrong number on the gold seal letter, if the applicant inputs the wrong school code when applying, it will skew the numbers. Unfortunately, it's self-input, so there's no real follow-up on it. So if somebody that puts the wrong code in, that's how PSI captures that data, unfortunately.
Okay.
yeah, because yes, exactly. I see Chicopee Comprehensive High School, and I didn't know they had an E2 apprentice program.
You approved that one, Pete. Come on, you don't remember that?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Or how about a better school of building inspection?
Yeah.
Would it be possible, John, to get something that's more historical, like for the last 12 months, over a last 12-month period? Just because I see some of the schools have one or two, and if one that's with those small numbers, it kind of skews things. I'd like to get last year or last 24 months if it's possible.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Would you want me to request that after the meeting, send you an email?
If you have an opportunity, just give me a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the difference between the I'll just pick on one of the first ones, AI Prince and AI Prince Apprenticeship RI. I'm just sure that's related instruction. That would be the night program.
That's my guess if they're inputting that data correctly, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think one of them might be artificial intelligence. I'm not sure.
I think we have to look at common sense and real intelligence before we get into artificial, but
Okay. And interesting, at the bottom of the total report, if you look at the whole structure, okay? Because, there are obviously some schools that do better than others and what have you. And at one time, we were able to we saw a school that was doing poorly. We were able to get a breakdown of what category they were failing mostly, and maybe it was grounding and bonding, or maybe it was low voltage, or maybe it was, safety or something. But when you look at the overall picture here, if I had a lot of confidence in this report, it would, we tested 1,133 people, 372 passed. So 32% passed and 67% failed. That would, I would say, we really need to look at our test, maybe, or we really need to look at our schools. If it was the reversed way and it was 67 or 70% passed, then I could live with that a little bit better. So I think the more, to your point, Peter, the more detailed information and the further back we could go, the better. And just looking at this again on that last sheet, school code 1272. I'm sorry, 1313 is national code seminars. The only thing national code seminars ever did in Connecticut, as far as I'm concerned, was continued ed as a provider. So I think there may be some of that mixed in here as well. So I think that's where some confusion may come up. And yet I look down further at on that same list on the last page, about a third of the way up, school code 1263 and school code 0079, excuse me, is the same provider, which one might be apprenticeship training, preparing for your E2. The other one might have been continued ed. Those codes. So maybe we need to look at the specific codes that we're looking at here for some of these schools.
Yeah, because they show me listed twice. One is my continuing ed provider number.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is, yeah. 1288. So I'm listed twice. And 1237. Yeah, I noticed that the other day.
Okay.
074.
So that may be when they sorted and pulled all the information together. It took anything relative to electrical as a school code in Connecticut and spit it out this way. So, okay. But it's a start. So we see if we can improve on the report with PSI without too much trouble. Okay. Any other questions by the board? No? Okay. Is there anyone else on the call today that wanted to speak to the board that has not spoken to the board yet? If so, that would be a good time to make sure you're unmuted and identify yourself. Okay, I guess not. Okay, with that, I think we've got, is there anything else that the board would like to discuss? Not on the agenda? No.
Not at this time.
Somebody would like to make a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 8th.
So
I'll
Mr.
make a
Chairman,
motion.
Pardon me? What was that?
I was
think
gonna say I can make a motion.
Oh, okay. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Before we adjourn here, I just want to thank everybody for coming to the meeting this way. With the limited agenda we had today, I didn't want to have to pull everybody into Hartford for it. This is not the way our meetings will normally go. They'll be in person, obviously. So I'm just trying to take into consideration everybody's time. So, all right, you have a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody ever, any objections? Nobody ever objects. Anybody abstaining? Nobody abstains. All right, well, thank you all again for attending, and I'm sure we'll probably talk in between meetings at some point, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you.
everyone.
Hey, have a
Thank you.
good Halloween, guys.
Take
See ya.
care.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.